Got a little friend here. We'll see how long they last. Welcome to Queer Church. Are you feeling all this energy? I could not interface before today, but we're still very much in the vibe, the eclipse season, the total lunar eclipse that we came yesterday. We'll be feeling it really for the next 2 weeks. So I wanted to send an offering here. And I want to say thanks to everyone who came and was able to be a part of the queer spirituality event over the weekend. It was so much fun to talk about the book, to talk about House of Our Queer, to welcome in more folks perhaps to our virtual connection and space. And something I wanted to highlight from that, of course, queerness as a blessing is one of the core principles of House of Our Queer. But another one that came up a lot is balancing internal and external support. That's one of our core principles, and I wanted to highlight that at the start of this, especially during eclipse season when everything can feel so much, so big transformations. It can feel like, well, what is our spiritual grounding? What is our spiritual, how are we making sense of this time? And I'll talk a lot about the astrology in a moment. But if for whatever reason you are feeling like, wow, energy is so big, I was describing it yesterday as that feeling when there are two magnets and you are, they're not the type that connect together, but when the magnets, you try to put them close, but they're sort of repelling. It's like they want to be in community. Excuse me, honey. They want to be in connection, but there's this space and distance and they can't quite touch. That's sort of the energy of eclipse season. And if you're feeling that, you are not alone. So with all of that in mind, our spiritual tools are even more important right now. And so with House of Our Queer, we believe in having a balance of internal and external spiritual supports. Internal being reflection, meditation, connection to body, somatic work, inner child work, therapy, manifestation, all of those ways that we are using our spiritual tools to better understand ourselves, better understand and reconnect to our intuition, our own life path, all of that important work, our birth charts. And then also balancing that with external supports, understanding that we have a need, all of us, for spiritual supports that are not within our control, reminding us that we are small, reminding us that we are held, reminding us that we are guided, whether that is our ancestors, our guides, nature, the universe, or even just the cosmic forces themselves. Really being able to balance that. I think that's especially important at this time when astrology says the cosmos are doing their thing. They are guiding, they are doing. And our role really is just to wait, to sit, to let it happen. I call this tornado time, right? Everything is up in the tornado, and we won't know where the house lands, where we'll be until the other side. Are we going to be in color and technicolor? Are we going to be back in black and white? Who's going to be under the house? Is it going to be us? We'll know on the other side. So thanks for being with me as we navigate this really big, major change-making time. I wanted to share for the reading today from Buddha Wisdom, Shakti Power. I pulled a card for us that is on the enlightened sky dancer of the Kundalini. What ignites the fire inside you? Look within. So even though this is a time where it's like, what is happening? One of the things we can focus on is what is lighting us up? What is lighting you up? So as always, the reading is a time for you to just get an idea, let something percolate, think about maybe something that's not your to-do list typically, and just see what marinates and let the rest go. Let's see. Enlightened ones, sky dancers, the ones who delight in dance and the experience of emptiness. Usually, these are helpers that support the spiritual practice. Maybe movement at this time might feel especially good. This one is this goddess, The most prominent in Buddhism, she represents our individual energy mechanism and is the personification of Kundalini or prana or chi energy, all names for the same thing. In human form, she is beautiful, red, dancing, joyful, and fiercely strong young woman. She stands on a human being, which represents her ability to crush ignorance and delusion through her spiritual practice. I really love that. I love the idea of just stomping on and crushing what is in the way of our spiritual best selves. I think this is a heavy time when we can think about that, and maybe an offering this week or in the next 2 weeks while we're under the pull of this eclipse season is to dance, to move, and to stomp physically down on what is feeling stuck, what is feeling stagnant, what you are circling and circling. This may not be the most grounded time, but it is certainly a time when we can get unstuck and we can move forward. That is my offering there. I want to talk about Eclipse. Thank you also to everyone who came to Moon Meet yesterday. It was such a beautiful time of reflection and connection. We were able to meet on the day of the total lunar eclipse, and I appreciate y'all. But I want to talk a little bit about that. So it was yesterday at 3:33 a.m., total eclipse in Virgo, the last one that we'll have for 3 years. So eclipse season, we're always talking about it, but there is a shift when the eclipses are total, like they've been this year. So total lunar eclipse, also 3:33 on 3/3. Can't ignore that. I'll talk about the numerology in a moment. But generally lunar eclipses represent endings, things that are meant to close, emotional revelations, radical shifts. So when we started eclipse season on the 17th with Lunar New Year and the solar eclipse, that's sort of a bursting of beginnings. And now we have this bursting of endings, these things that are closing. And so this is a great time for you to think about what is closing in your life, what is ending, whether you like it or not, what is falling apart, what are you working really extra hard to keep together. Really thinking this can also be about patterns, relationships, and even creativity, things like, is there a way that you're being blocked from your creativity because you're holding so much? That could let go. Because this lunar eclipse is in Virgo, it has this extra grounded, let's get stuff done energy. Even though eclipse season is not a time for manifesting, for pretending that we know the plan, there's this cosmic tension between Virgo, which is very much, I want to know the plan. I want everyone to know the plan. I am grounded. I am on earth. I am organized. And the lunar eclipse, which is, I will make chaos. I'm going to rupture, shift, create endings, closings, to my own will, whether people are with the plan or not. And so I think there's this interesting tension that you might be feeling as part of the feel. Also, another part of this is that Mercury is in retrograde. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. So there's this like communication. Thank you for bearing with me as I attempt to communicate on technology during a very difficult time for communication. It's probably why I've stayed away for a bit too. And, at House of Our Queer, we always say we don't fear the astrology, that we're not holding up and zipping our nervous systems and our tension because Mercury is in retrograde. It is a natural part of planets moving. It happens several times, 4 times a year about. And so we try not to fear it. We try not to go ahead of ourselves. And I will say, at this time, because of this connection to the eclipse happening in a south node during big closings and endings, there's a magnification of Mercury in retrograde that I think we are feeling now. And so my general advice still stands, which is, be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. If you don't have the words for something, that's okay. If other people don't have the words for something right now, that's expected. If things, what I want us to also build comfort with, especially in this part of our body, the trust and resilience and independence center for our bodies, I want us to really try to hold on in this moment for, wow, I'd really like to have a plan. I'd really like to have the words. I'd really like for everyone to be on the same page and for the understanding that that is not likely possible at this time. Just giving patience for yourself, identifying the places where you really would like there to be a plan, to be communication, to be an ending that is understood to yourself and to others, and really holding and trusting that as an ending, whatever version. Maybe it's a version of a relationship, a version of yourself that's ending. Trusting that feeling so that in a couple of weeks, when we leave eclipse season, after some of these other shifts happen, the words can appear. So trust the feeling, even and especially without necessarily having the right words right now. And another big focus for this transit, because Virgo is perfectionism, perfect, the plan, execution, this is a moment for us to unearth and release that. To, eclipses take everything that's underneath and bring them to the surface, as uncomfortable as that can be. What is in your cellar, your emotional cellar, your dark past, your things you push away, the doors you're holding closed physically and energetically, around perfectionism, around the idea that there is a right or wrong, that there is a perfect version of you and your life that went according to some perfect timeline and plan that looks a certain way professionally, relationally, home-wise. What are the ways that you're still, whether you're acknowledging it in the light or not, connected to, being driven by, or being held back by a perfect idea? And how can we allow this time of disruption to disrupt that, to show it to you, to be acknowledged, and then released, rushed and away like the mud that it is, cleared away like the muck that it is, taking up space in your energy, and letting this astrology release that for you, letting this ending of that idea, that perspective, and thinking, what would release or relaxation in this area that I may be fighting so hard to look right, to be recognized as? What if I relaxed? What if I relaxed? What if I released into what is and appreciated this for what it's meant to be? So I'll also just highlight really quickly before we close, looking at 3:33 in the morning. On 3/3 is when this lunation happened. And that to me is this confirmation. 3 is a lucky number. 3 is creativity. It is communication. Optimism, self-expression. So what are the ways? It's also this connection between 1, the self, 2, others. So 3 is that kind of combination. It's made up of the self and others. And there's a lot in the astrology at this transition time, even though it's pulling us all individually, for there to be some collective pull. We are doing our work for the greater, for the community, for the good, to ripple out into our interpersonal and professional and community-led relationships. So kind of holding that aspect as well, thinking about what we're releasing, but also what is being birthed, what could you're doing this to not just be empty, but to kind of create space. So thinking around for yourself what you want to focus on, create, and nurture that maybe you haven't had time for. Also focus on while releasing outcomes, while releasing pathways, um, and what has to fall away for you to stay on that focus. Those are my offerings. Let's close with a tarot card. I am sending so much appreciation to every single one of you. I am grateful to be a human while you are a human. I am grateful that we are in some community and connection, even during these big, and maybe especially during these big cosmic times. So as we close, let us breathe. One thing I've learned recently is that humans, it's actually like sort of a short circuit, that as humans we breathe in here only, versus breathing in from the top of our head, the bottom, bringing life force in this way and then back out, so that as we breathe it actually radiates necessarily through all of our chakra systems. And so because we can only breathe in this circular way here, we have to energetically continue the ties from the top of our head and up and below. So I invite you, as we pull and collect our energy, to imagine as you're breathing in that you are bringing in the chi, the life force, from the top, from the bottom, letting it swirl through your lungs and then release out. We'll do that a few times. Breathing in, up and down, swirling around and out. And as we do so, calling what we need to hear. I'm using Shadowscapes Tarot. These are beautiful watercolors by Stephanie Puiman Law. And let's see, we've got the 9 of Wands here. I'll just let you gaze this for a moment. So one of the things I love about these cards is they really are just this beautiful watercolor landscape. Wands, we are in fire, transition, and change. That cannot be denied right now. We are in that time, above, below, internally, personally, community-wise, culturally. We are in fire. We are in change. We are burning things up. We are letting things go, whether we like it or not. When we have the 9 is this way that, yes, we are in change, and also we have support. We're up there holding the charge, holding the change, but behind us, it is not lost to us and cannot be lost to our spiritual selves that there is support behind us, including old versions of ourselves that are like, yes, I am ready to stay behind. I'm behind you, but you need to go forward. I'm here, your little child. I'm here, you in your first relationship. I'm here, you in your first job ever and what you accepted at the time. I'm here, and you're the one moving forward. It's the time. We've got your back, and you are going to move forward, make this shift, make this change. It's time. Wish that and the support. I'm one of those folks behind all of you and cheering you on through whatever changes are happening, whatever endings and beginnings are calling to you. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all on the other side.